Hello, this is Hi Bob Warbob, and let's play some Ultimate General Civil War.
Hello, and welcome back. Today we are going to be playing the camp after Shiloh here on the Union campaign. So we got a pretty bad rap whenever it comes to this. I don't think this is going to be good. 10,000 veterans. I'm guessing that the training shot up by quite a lot. 1 second, and we'll just show you how much it did jump up by. So it was at 55 to 60 and 24 to 29. Let me take a screenshot of that real quick. And then we will load what we were just doing. And we are now at 59 to 64. So it only went up by like 4% and 6% respectively, and actually went down by 1,000 on the army size. So it doesn't look like anything too crazy happened. Maybe that's just because we wiped out pretty much all their units at Shiloh. But still, a 5% bump in armory is going to mean we're going to face better weapons, which is good. I kind of want to face better weapons because it's not a whole lot of fun capturing like a bunch of really terrible farmers and or reboards and stuff. So I think maybe we'll have more luck capturing better weapons going forward, which is kind of nice. Next thing we want to do is we want to come over here and we want to look at how many weapons we gained. So we gained a little, I mean, not that we gained all of these, but that we have 10,000 here, maybe even 11,000, and then almost 2,000 there, 2,000 between these two, 200, 300. So we look to have almost enough weapons. We're going to need a few more to be able to actually get everybody on board. I'm thinking that I want to go with 7 AO. The big reason for that is that your max brigade size, going up to 2,500, is kind of big. You look at the next battles. I think 7 Pines is the smallest one, so we'll be doing them in order of how many units you get. You only get 6 units. So being able to bring 2,500 men to this battle per unit just makes sense from a perspective of I want to bring as many men as I can. And obviously 6 brigades is not going to cover all the men that I want to bring. I mean, you think about it, those 6 units right there, we can make almost 6 units of 2,500 just from the men we got in that battle. We're only 1,000 away from being able to do that. So obviously, we want to bring more men. Now, you could put it into politics, put it into econ, put it into medicine, other things like that. But at this point, I only really need AO, medicine, economy, and politics. You don't need training, and you don't need reconnaissance. So that basically just means that I want a bunch of AO, and then I don't know if I want to put a whole bunch more into politics right now, because I'm afraid that I'm going to hit a point where I basically can't field, I can't even put all the men that I have into my army. Not that that's going to happen like overnight, but there might get to be a point where I can't even have artillery units and be able to actually make, I mean, very many artillery units. Let's be clear. I mean, obviously I'm going to be able to make some artillery for most of the campaign. Until the very end, there might be a point where I have 300,000 men. But until that point, it's not going to affect me that much. But I also don't want to hit that point too quickly, because then I will run into a problem where I will start having problems fielding the units that I want at the timing that I want. Obviously, we're going to want the Harper's Ferries. Obviously, we're going to want the 20-pound parrots. Now, whether or not we want the 20-pound parrots now or right before the next battle. So if we have 14, we're going to fight 3 side battles. That'll get us up to 20. So 10 and 17, we wouldn't be able to afford the parrots at the same time as getting the other 2. So then it comes down to whether or not you want 55s or Harper's Ferries. I mean, it's Harper's Ferry 55, but still. And I think the answer is that either one is very good. And we can go in here and we can look to see, we can buy 7K of these during this phase, or we can buy 7,000 of them. I don't think we'll be able to afford a whole bunch of both, but we can get some of both. We can definitely top off our 55s that we have, to 2,000 or 2,500 men, no problem. Along with the Harper's Ferry as well. We have 2 Harper's Ferry units. So I'm thinking we probably want to pick up those Harper's Ferries. And we'll keep building towards having more Harper's Ferries. I think Harper's Ferries are just that little bit better than 55s. Than Springfield 55s. It's not by a whole lot. But it is better. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and lock in our army org. We're going to be putting most of our points, I think, for the rest of this. The next 3 battles, probably in economy. But I really want to put points in politics, too. So I'm kind of torn there. Between just putting points in politics and... Because I almost don't want to put points into army org right now. Because, how many men am I going to get from this? 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. So that wouldn't be too much of a bump with politics, I don't think. So I could go 2 points into politics. Let's see what that does. So instead of 4,200, we start getting 4,400. So it's only a difference of 200 men. It really isn't that much difference. But that means that we can bring, 3,000 men less to this battle? Because it's 50 men per unit, 6 units. So 200 men per battle. And I mean, I could keep putting points in here. And then just wait. But see, the other thing is that you need 2 points to hit that 2,500. So that means that, I might skip it right now. And then I would need to put, then I could put another point into politics whenever I do this one. But then I'd need to put a point in with both of those to be able to bring them for Gaines Mill. And the thing is that Gaines Mill, I could just use a whole bunch of 2,000 man units. And it wouldn't even affect me. I could still bring my every single man that I have to Gaines Mill, even if I don't have 2 AO. 2 more AO on top of what I have. So maybe I don't even put points into AO at all. And I just go with 2K man units. How many units do I get here? 12. I mean, 12 is getting pretty close to bringing my whole army. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then, of course, 7 more units right there. I mean, it's not really that close to my whole army. Whereas with the extra 500 men in each one, you just bring that many more. You get that much more chance to field as big an army as possible. So I think that we want to field as many men as we can during these battles to get ready for Gaines Mill and, consequentially get ready for Malvern Hill as well.
Sir, yes, sir.
And bigger units will help us do that easier. So now we can go ahead and move this division over here. So I do have a few units here that happen to specialize in melee during the last battle, which is kind of cool. We're also going to want to bring 4 division commanders to every single one of these battles, so we'll probably go with like 2-2-1-1, just so that we bring all the division commanders possible. Just makes sense. Now, how much artillery we need? I don't think we need a whole lot of artillery at Seven Pines. We'll get some artillery ready for it though, just in case. We'll try to use some of our better 2-stars. These are our best 2-star units, the ones that were 2 stars to start that battle. And you can see they almost hit max morale. They have maximum stamina. They've got firearms in the 60s for most of them, which is really good. Their melee is a little bit low, except that one's a little bit higher, but for the most part they're pretty low on melee, which is, I mean, you don't really want your best units getting into melee too much, but these guys here did really good in melee. So maybe we'll break down one of them, like the best one of them, and try to mix like this guy in with one of the best one of these guys, just to go ahead and bump that melee up just a little bit, just because that melee stat is harder to gain on the Union playthrough. I think that could be a really strong choice going forward to help us make the situation just that little bit better for us. Okay, so we do have the opportunity to buy 5 guns here. That'll put us up to 13. We can buy another 6. That'll put us up to 19. We don't really want to be bringing a 19-man unit, but we could bring a 10 and a 9 to Gaines Mill. It's probably doable. Now we just want to get better men for these units so that they can actually gain that 2nd star pretty easily. Like, we want to be putting light colonels on artillery units all the time, because they're small. So your efficiency is affected by how big the unit is and how much command they have. So what you want to do is you want to take the lowest number of men in a unit, like these guys, and give them the best stats that you have, because you want your big ticket generals to be giving big ticket command to guys with big numbers in a unit, because it will help out their efficiency more. Whereas whenever you have small units, you want to give them higher other stats besides command, so that then you're using your officers most efficiently. I don't know if I can explain it any better than that, but you just have to take my word for it. Like, and then, like, if I want to get to 3 stars on this guy, I'll be able to just like bump him up by using an officer on him once he gets closer to that 3rd star. If I really need that 3rd star. So I think that is the direction I am gonna go. I don't think that is the direction that everybody's gonna want to go, but I feel that having the worst, let's see what we got for officers: 2 brigadier generals and a colonel and a few light colonels. Now we can go ahead and put some majors on some of those artillery units even. I don't think we'll ever want to go down to captain though, just because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, but look how many majors we get. We get a ton of majors. Like, I don't think we're gonna run out of officers anytime soon. I don't think that we need to get any majors to like min-star majors by making a bunch of infantry units. You can get like something Compass says you can get as many as you want. All you got to do is just obviously run out your officer pool of anything better than a major, and then build another infantry unit, and you'll get a very cheap major, because majors are not very expensive, as you can see here. Like a minimum one is about 700, so you can get as many of those as you want. I don't really want them that bad. I just don't feel like they do. Like I need them. I've made sure and bought all the light kernels in the last batch, like the last several batches, I think. The last 2 batches, really. And buying all those light kernels, and then buying all these light kernels, all the generals, all the kernels that I can, I feel like that will get me enough going forward. So let's, and then, you know, if I need to buy a couple of these majors that are higher, maybe I'll do that too. As long as they don't impact my efficiency too much. I don't even mind taking a little bit of a hit on efficiency. It's not too big a deal, as long as it's just a little hit. So yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and buy the Harbor's Ferries, and we're gonna put them on a unit here. I mean, we can put them on, I think we want to put them like on a farmer's unit. Not because we actually want the farmer's unit to end up having them, but because we want to make like our new units out of like some of our worst guns. So that's just what I'm going to do. MJGs are pretty good. They're a little bit worse than Lorenz's, I think. Yeah, quite a bit worse. They've got okay melee, but I mean, that low damage range is bad. Like, that's 3 points lower than the other, and only 1 point higher on the high end. So I mean, it can technically do more damage. I mean, it's got 41% at max and 13.75 there, and it's got a little bit better melee. But I mean, I think those are going to be, I mean, obviously they're better than some of the other options that we have here, but not by a whole lot, for sure. I mean, obviously they're better than what the Mississippi's would be, probably by a little bit. 5 and then 5.62. So yeah, they're a little bit better than Mississippi's. You've even got higher melee. That's funny. Usually the worst shooting a gun is the higher melee, so it's funny that the MJ&G would outdo it, but only by a little, only by 1 point. I mean, it does outdo the Lorenz by like 4 points, but that's still not a big deal. Basically the only reason we're gonna use them is because we got them for free off of them. So MJG, put those into a couple of these units here in place of, especially the farmers. We'll make a lot of these like just random junk units out of farmers. MJG and JG. We also have a lot of Springfields, so we can go ahead and make any more units that we can to, so we don't have any units besides the Springfields and the reboards that we can make right now. We could buy some Harbor's Ferries, put them on like these palmettos here. We'll use them to top up these 3 units here. So I think it's worth it, because yeah, that would be about the right number. I mean, this one will take almost half these men to do, and then that will take almost half the men, and then we can probably top that one off. I mean, we've got plenty of money. Yeah, because we got like 57,000 supply here that we don't need, and we've got another 39,000 here that we don't need. I did check, and we did get both those supply wagons, so we're looking good there. That's really exciting going forward to have 2 supply wagons in both the first corps and the second corps already. So that is looking absolutely amazing. Obviously, we could go with just like a lower amount of supply here. We don't need that much supply for these upcoming battles. I mean, I'm only bringing 6 units. I mean, it's really not that bad. Doesn't take that much to resupply infantry anyway. So I am going to go ahead and pause it and build out the units to take up all these men. One thing we definitely will do is we will definitely buy all the extra colonels we can by making new divisions, because that is really good. And also, you know, the core ones as well, because you might as well, while you're doing it, get as many division commanders and as many corps commanders that are, I mean, they're not free, but they are more colonels. Now, I'm going to leave this one blank. There's pretty much no way that we won't be able to do this one, but I really like being able to just move a division if I really want to, and the only way to do that is to leave at least one division spot empty, and at this point it's just a waste of money. Like, I know that I'll be able to, with 3 corps like this and 4 divisions, I'll definitely be able to use up all my colonels and all my brigadier generals until very much later in the game. So we won't have any problems buying those extra colonels. Okay, so I went ahead and broke down all the artillery units that I had. I'm going to give them Lorenzes because I got to buy some anyway for all the Lorenz units that I have, so I don't think that buying 1,000 of them is too crazy, because I'm probably going to try to march in with just 55s, Harbor's Ferries, and a few Lorenzes into this next battle. You want to bring not your best men, but you want to bring your best guns. Your best guns are going to get you better kill to death ratios. They're going to keep you from losing men, and especially the Harbor's Ferries and the 55s, they fire faster. So you gain more firearms, you gain more kills, you do better damage. Overall, just a better time. We're going to bring very, very low 2-star men to this battle, is the goal. Okay, so the next thing I did is I did like what I was saying, and I broke down my best 2-star unit up here, and I broke down the guy with the best melee here, and now we are going to make all of our artillery units, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's to my point. So 10 guns with a minimum star major and a minimum colonel don't take an efficiency hit. 11 guns, it starts to. But the catch is that this is a minimum colonel. Like, you just get a little bit better colonel in there, and you'll be fine. Like, so this is just the proof that majors are really good for being in charge of artillery. Just throwing that out there. Just because of how low the number of men are in an artillery unit. So what they can help with is actually ranking up your majors. Like, if you need to rank up majors, the best place to put them is in charge of your artillery. Just give them... Now, I admit, I'm minting 2-stars here, but you saw how close my artillery were after the last battle. Like, they were almost 2-stars. All I'm doing is just giving them a little nudge. That's all. I thought I had 10 guns here. Oh, he costs 800 to buy. That's fine. Okay, so another 10 men in a 6-pound field unit. I'll be back whenever I have the rest made. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and buy just 2 Napoleons. I mean 4 Napoleons to make this 6-gun battery. And what it's going to be for is whenever I buy those 20-pound parrots. I think I get 6 of them. And that will allow me to basically just like break down this guy and put a couple men into this one to go ahead and bring that guy up to par whenever I can. I just don't want to buy it yet because I'll get low morale, and I don't really want to get low morale. Like, I have no morale effect right now, and I prefer no morale effect rather than like a -2, especially if I'm going to be trying to bring in units with lower morale. I don't think any of my guys are going to have really low morale, but it's just nice to have high morale if you can. That's why you want to drag out battles as long as possible, get that morale up. Oh, and also on these guys, I wasn't like aiming to get like minimum 2-star, mostly because I don't mind them having a little bit extra experience stocked away in here. I like that 34 melee, 37 firearms. I want them to have some good stats in here. I want them to be working towards 3 stars so that whenever I, feel like it, I can come over here. I think that's my highest 3-star guy I have, and I can just pop him in, and look at that. Like, all they gotta gain is like 40 experience, and I'll be able to like just make them into 3 stars if I want to, which is kind of the goal here, is to get these guys up to 3 stars for artillery, because artillery is just way better whenever it's 3 stars. The big problem I think I'm gonna have is trying to get the artillery weapons, because I just don't know. I'm not sure I want to buy any 10-pound, 24-pound howitzers. Jameses are really good. We can buy those. I don't mind buying Jameses. And Whitworths. Not sure about Whitworths either. I'll have to make those decisions on the ordnance, the 10-pounder parrots, and the Whitworths. I'll have to make those decisions, and obviously on the 24-pound howitzers. They're good. They're just, they get targeted down so easy, and for the way I play, they don't do as good a work as like a James does. Just because the James like is good at like any range. Like out at this max range of the 24-pound howitzer, doesn't do any damage, and it's only got 1100 range, whereas the James has 1400 range and does 31% damage at the max range. Like, that's really good. Still does very good damage out to max range. It doesn't let you outrange like all the guns in the game, but it means that no matter what it's firing at, whether or not it's firing canister or way out there, it does very good damage. Now this thing, it just doesn't do very much damage, is part of the problem with this gun. And then this gun, just the fact that they have to be close, and oftentimes like there'll be guys at like max range and you're firing at them, and then like you have to like put them on hold fire and then like tell them to fire whenever anybody comes close, and it's a lot of micromanagement for howitzers, or you just absolutely will decimate your ammo capacity in a battle. Like, they are expensive to keep firing. Jameses are actually very expensive too, but they'll actually do good damage no matter what range. So I'm not so mad whenever a James just sits there and fires the whole battle. I am mad whenever a 24-pound howitzer fires at something at max range. It just doesn't do you any good. Now, the next part of this whole thing will be to make 6 units of 2500 that have only just 1 star. The biggest decision now is, do we bring breeder generals, major generals, colonels, or light colonels? Because we have plenty of light colonels. We have this one and these. That's 6 right there. And we also, right? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 light colonels that we could bring. 7 if we include this guy. Yeah. Let's go ahead and include him in the running here. Let's go ahead and actually put this guy in charge of this guy. Just because I want to be able to see all my choices up front here. So I went ahead and put all, like, basically my lowest major generals in charge of all of the divisions. We have 3 lieutenant generals now. We can go ahead and bring like 1 major general to this battle. We could do that. I think that might be a good idea to go ahead and bring like the highest major general for 1 unit. And then, because yeah, that guy's not the highest. That's fine. We can put him in there. And we can put this guy in the other one. Just to have our lieutenant generals out of the way. We don't really want to be bringing lieutenant generals to battles unless we really need them in division command, maybe. So a minimum light colonel and this guy don't work, but we might be able to get away with it if we did like this. So we'll have our lowest light colonel, our lowest 2 light colonels in 1st division, and we'll see. So it does lose a little bit still. Let's see how it still looks like it loses quite a bit, starting like here. Okay, so that means that we would need to bring a light lieutenant general to be able to pull that off, or maybe just a higher of the other, but I bet that we'll need, yeah, see, it doesn't even work with a lieutenant general. I mean, we could bring our best lieutenant general and see what that does.
Yes, sir.
But I'm still thinking that it's probably not going to work. Yeah, still didn't work. I mean, it's definitely better 39 instead of nope, still 39, so about the same. Then comes the next question, like how much better is this guy at doing it? Still not. That guy? Still not. It's going up slowly. Still not. Wow. Yeah, this is one of those reasons why it's really hard to get your light colonels up once you go to 2,500, because at 2,000 these guys would be fine, but once you hit that 2,500 mark, it starts getting real hard. There's like a big jump suddenly once you go above 2,000 somewhere that really starts knocking into your efficiency real fast. I'm not entirely certain where that is that it happens, but it definitely starts happening. Start hitting that efficiency right there. So our efficiency would be 45, and our efficiency is 39 on this one. So I guess technically I am lowering it a little bit by putting men in, but not as much as whenever you start taking that hit. Because like that's 42. Let's just see what it would be. 45. So yeah, between here and here, you only lose like 1. But instead of 45, going down to these guys, you know, that loses you 6 efficiency in just the last like 500 men. So that's a little painful. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go ahead and try to build out the army myself, and I will be back. I know this is getting to be a really long video, sorry. Okay, so I made my decision. I'm gonna use this guy, the max one, and the next guy down, and the rest are gonna be like my lowest colonels instead. So what I did is I just made 2 units. I mean, I made one made the one unit out of the unit that I had mixed together of the best melee and the best 2-star to make the artillery. So I made that unit, and then I went back and I got just absolute trash raw recruits, and I put them in until we're gonna lose the 2-stars. Then we can top them up from there with 2-star men, or even some of these guys probably. We'll have enough experience to not bump up his bar too much. We want to have that stamina to gain. We want to have morale to gain. We want to have all these stats that we can gain. Stamina is a little bit rough. I'm not going to lie. It's really hard to get the stamina down on these units. That's just the way it's going to be going forward because of how low the firearms melee efficiency is on just all the men. Makes it really difficult to add men to these units. The Lorenz, we need to find a way to get more of these guys into the pool or something. Is there a gun we can replace this with? Yes, the reboard farmers. Good. Okay, that's good. That will allow me to go ahead and use the Lorenzes that I had purchased. We don't want to purchase too many guns, even though we have the money for it. We want to purchase the guns that we need. We don't want to purchase just willy-nilly everything. So you see that we do have some stamina to gain. Obviously we have a little bit here to gain as well, but it's only like 5 stamina to gain there, because if that's 10, that's probably 5, maybe 7, which is fine. It's not that bad, but it's also not quite what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a little bit more room to gain some stats here. 341. I will put him in charge, it's fine. See, even with a 2-star general, you still don't hit a perk with raw recruits. It's pretty real. It's pretty real. We could see. Maybe we can do it with this guy. He's really close. But even with a 3-star general, with a minimum 3-star general, still can't do it. You need like this guy probably, or maybe even just War Bob could do it. One way or another, raw recruits are absolutely terrible. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys finished up, get all these units moved to other places, and see if we can build ourselves an army here of basically minimum 2-star units. Be right back. So I found a new interesting way of thinking. So if I take all the units that I want to make and split them out all evenly with the same type of men. Now I know these guys each have 1 more man, but if I do that, then I use the lowest commander that I'm going to want to use, and I add men till he loses his star. Then I know that I can add 49 men to this one as well, and it'll be fine. And 49 to this one. And then I can move this guy over here to see how many of these guys need. See if they can get less because of the... Nope, still 49.
Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir.
Because the 1 less man that they had. Okay, so that gets them all up that high, and then I can just like add men to one of them, and then I'll be able to tell like how many I can add to the others as well. Probably should have just kept them all at the exact same number instead of like having these 3 be up by 1. Probably would have been smarter, but it will make them all equally as good, because I wanted to split out the melee experience is the reason why I did it, and split out the firearms experience, because if I use the melee guy, then he got lower firearms, and if I did it vice versa, then vice versa, obviously. So this way, it will allow me to get even experience between all the units, which is preferable to me. Okay, so now we're done. We got it all built. I know this has been a really long video. I feel like I talked about some important things in here. Not sure how many people are actually going to watch it, but that's fine. So we got 0 amount of experience on this guy. And then we do have a little bit of experience on some of these guys. We could put more raw recruits into them. I just don't feel like it. I feel like having units that are all the same. So, like, especially with this guy, you could definitely add. I mean, that just seems like a huge waste, doesn't it? Whenever I start looking at it, I'm just like, that is a waste. If I'm gonna have this big guy here, I might as well have him actually gaining stats.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I can add 500 men to it. Doesn't drop his other stats too much, but it really ramps up on that amount of stamina that I can gain.
Sir, yes,
And it gets him down to that, you know, just a little bit of experience there. And that's fine. So now all we gotta do is just name everybody up and we'll be ready to go. So in the end, we still have 10,000 men that need to come into the army. Like, as raw recruits. That need to get split in and try to maintain 2-star units. I'm not sure right now how many all my generals could handle. But with the experience that we gain here, and the fact that a lot of these could be colonels, and then use the better generals in charge of the men, I feel like we could get rid of most of this, if not all of it. It would be close, because, I mean, you're not talking about a lot of room for experience in some of these units, but I still have a lot of colonels in here that I'll be able to do things with. We'll probably try to use some light colonels on some units to gain them some experience at Gaines Mill. But before Gaines Mill, we're not going to have any battles where we have to bring very many units. 8 units here, 6 units on 7 Pines, and only 12 units at Secure River, I believe, was what we had looked at. So we're going to be really struggling to field low enough men, but yet high enough at the same time, because, like, it's really hard whenever stamina is the majority of your experience getting you to 2 stars. We will overcome it, and obviously I think we have a great army going forward, obviously, because, I mean, we've got 6 2-star units here, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 2-star infantry here. I think we could definitely get this one, like, between all of the experience that we have here, we could get 8, probably even 10. So we could say 10 2-star 2,500 man infantry that we could field, and then we also still have all these 2-star artillery up here too. 5, 6, 7 units of artillery. Probably 2 of these would be very difficult to get to 2 stars, and that's fine. But I mean, you can see that they're not that far away from being 1 stars with how good of generals we have, so I'm not seeing any problem going forward. I think at Gaines Mill we'll be able to have a really nice army. Probably all 2 stars by that point. Hopefully we can gain enough experience in here to offset the 4,000 men that we're going to be gaining. That's the big question, is during this battle, will I gain enough experience that I won't actually gain more men than I can slot into my army? And I think with the fact that the next one's going to be 8 units and then 12, I think that we'll be able to slot more and more of those raw recruits in to those 2-star units to go ahead and keep bumping up that that overall level of the army. You guys have a good one, and I will see you next time at 7 Pines. Bye.
Well, this has been a blast. Hope you guys have had as much fun as I've had. I'll see you again in the next episode. You guys have a good one,